Hi, my name is Gabriel Fratini. I'm the chef owner of my new restaurant in Bali called GAB's GastroBar.
Chef, your culinary journey began at 15. What inspired you to pursue a career at such a young age?
I come from a poor family, and we talk about after the war, and things like that. So my family was not wealthy, okay? And my father had an accident at tender age of 40s, around there, and he couldn't work anymore. So there was not much to eat, let's put it this way. And a friend of mine, I used to eat pasta every day, only pasta. That was the only thing that was on the table. And maybe Christmas or maybe Easter, special occasion, ravioli or chicken. That was like a big deal, eating something different. Then when it was time for me, I finished my school, when it was time for me to decide what to do, my father said to me, why don't you become a bricklayer? Why don't you become a carpenter or a mechanic? Go and do some job like that. So luckily a friend of mine, which is 2 years older than me, he did the cooking school and he was working in Switzerland. Then I said to him, what do you think if I go in cooking school? Because I want to eat well, And he said, that's a good idea. You go and then you come and see me, we work together. And basically I did. I went to cooking school and I never went back.
You've had the opportunity to work around the world. How have these diverse culinary landscapes influenced your cooking style?
The landscape is dictated by the product that you find in the country that you are, okay? So you are some countries, let's take Japan, okay, for example. Japan, they are more towards fish, fresh product, fresh vegetable, everything is fresh. A lot of restaurants, they grow their own. A lot of restaurants are close to the sea, so they catch the fresh and that's it. If it's 1 day old, they throw it away, basically. So according to what I found in the country, I get inspiration to cook. You see, so it's all a challenge. For example, here in Bali, the challenge is a bit different also, because even though we are in an island, not easy to find fresh seafood, and not easy to find good piece of meat. And the cheese, for example, a lot of people make in Bali. There's a lot of people who makes mozzarella, burrata, they make it here in Bali. So of course the taste is not the same in Italy, but I adapt myself to what I find locally and produce what I know with the local food, basically. That's how I get the inspiration from the country, the product that I can find here.
Chef, you've been cooking for 15 years. You've had many changes in cooking methods and food presentation. What are some of the most significant evolution you've observed?
50 years ago, we didn't have this fancy word, umami and sous vide. We didn't have all these things that we are using today, vacuum pack and, flowers with food. We didn't have all of these. 50 years ago was more towards the French style of cooking, you see. Basically, we learned Italian, of course, because I went to Italian cooking school, but the basics, some bechamel, for example, was French in a way, and many other things that was French, okay? And the presentation was not there. It was, I got photos of 50 years ago. If you look at the photo of then and you look at the photo today, it's like a black and white, So the evolution has been, I never remember of, today you're looking at this cooking show, they say, this one needs a little bit more of acidity, this one needs a little more sweetness.
You've also been a private chef for some iconic figures, including Michael Jackson, Roger Federer, and George W. Bush. Could you share a memorable moment or challenging moment you faced while cooking for such distinguished clients?
Well, in my career, since the 80s, I started cooking for a lot of personality, let's put it away, from movie star to sport people to you name it, okay? And the challenge itself You see, I always take a person, no matter who you are, I always take you as a person, not as your title. You can be the king, but for me, you're still a man. You're still a person who has to eat. So the challenge is finding the balance of what you want to do and create something for you. Because not all of them doesn't mean because it's a personality, he knows how to eat.
Right.
You see, so you have to create something, you have to discover what this person wants to eat, what he likes, what he doesn't like, and then you create a dish out of it.
Now at GAB's GastroBar in Canggu, you're introducing Al Buio menu. Could you elaborate more on the concept?
Al Buio menu basically is a very old thing that's still practicing today in Italy. Is you go to a restaurant, especially family restaurant, and they don't have a menu. The owner or the chef or the wife or the waiter, whoever, how big it is, the restaurant, come to me and say, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. What would you like? So it's been existing, this menu, for long time. The only things that I do different is that I don't present one dish only. For example, today the plate of the day is ravioli. Main course is sea bass. Appetizer is carpaccio. No, what I do is I let you try a little bit of everything, because I believe, as a chef, I believe in why a person should eat one piece of meat for half an hour, chewing the same steak for half an hour and feeling the same taste, smell, and look, you know, when you can have a little bit of different dishes, and at the end of the day, you fill up your stomach with so many flavors.
GAB's GastroBar is not just a restaurant, but also a space with stories to tell. Could you share a story or inspiration behind one of your signature dishes?
One of my signature dishes actually is a dessert. And there's a story behind.
Okay.
And the story is about tiramisu, okay? So tiramisu was invented, the modern tiramisu was invented in North City of Italy by this Italian guy, which he died only a few weeks ago anyway, the old age, okay? So he died a few weeks ago. And he was the father of tiramisu. And the tiramisu was invented in 1969 by him, 1969. I went to school in 1973, 74, 75, around there, 74, 75, okay? And at that time, we didn't study tiramisu, we didn't know what was tiramisu, because it was created by this guy only a few years early. And tiramisu didn't become famous until the late 80s or 90s. Now tiramisu is in the world of everybody, in the mouth of everybody in the world, okay? And it's one of the most famous desserts, but it's also one of the most bastardized dessert.
Bastardized dessert, all right.
Because they will put so many things inside to make it better. You know, if the wheel is round and rolls, why do you want to reinvent the wheel?
That's true.
So tiramisu is only 5 ingredients. Lady's fingers, mascarpone cheese, egg yolk, sugar, and coffee. And that's its original recipe of 50 years ago, okay? And after cooking school, a few years later, I heard about this dessert and I started making it with the original recipe. And when I went to Hong Kong in 1981, around there, okay, late 80s or 81, I went to Hong Kong. I introduced tiramisu in Hong Kong for the first time. Nobody knew what was tiramisu, you see. So, and up to today, you know, it's still my best dishes.
What advice would you give to aspiring chef?
My advice to them is that it's a tough job. You want to do it, you have to do it with passion, number one. You have to cook with love and passion. Then you have to be fast and you have to have a personality. Okay, by combining all these 3 ingredients with personality, with passion, creativity, imagination, and fantasy, whatever you can mix inside this soup bowl, you know, you become a chef with no time. because you push yourself ahead from the others. If you want to cook for the rest of your life, change job, because it's a tough job. I got 2 children, I never pushed them to follow my footsteps, because I don't want them to suffer.